Hello and thanks for joining us. I'm Laurel Hess and this is Comcast Newsmakers coming to you from the Detroit Regional Chamber Mackinac Policy Conference being taped at the Grand Hotel. Our topic today is the Detroit Parent Network. Joining us now to talk about it is Tonya Allen, the COO of the Skillman Foundation. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Laura. I'm glad to be here.
What exactly is the Detroit Parent Network?
Well, the Detroit Parent Network is an organization of parents that help parents be better parents on behalf of their kids. So we focus a lot on helping parents be better do better parenting, to become better engaged in the community, as well as to make sure that parents are engaged in the educational process and ensuring that their children have the best education possible.
And you are actually from the Skillman Foundation. So what is that relationship and why did the Skillman Foundation decide to sort of take on the cause of the Detroit Parent Network?
Well, you know, the Skillman Foundation is 50 years old. We're a children's foundation that's focused specifically on children in the region. We have been deeply engaged in education reform, and we're also deeply engaged in communities trying to help the most vulnerable children. And as much as we want to do to help kids, the best helper or the best supporter of children are their parents. So 10 years ago, when we started to really think about this idea, how do we create a sustainable institution that's going to help parents change the trajectory of the lives of children in the city of Detroit, we looked across the country. We looked at the best models, the best practices. We brought them all back here and we helped start the Detroit Parent Network. And quite honestly, this organization is stellar, and it is a leader in the country on engaging parents, and they do it really well. And so as a foundation, we want to make those kind of investments in organizations that do that kind of work.
And you said, how long has the network been around and how has it grown over the years?
Well, the Detroit Parent Network has been around for 10 years. They're actually celebrating their 10th anniversary this year. I think we started off with, my husband and I actually were the first members of the Detroit Parent Network. We're now close to 3,000 members. This year we want to break that 3,000 member mark. And we started off serving about 2,000 parents, and we're now up to more than 25,000 parents a year. So this is an important institution in our community that's doing really great work with parents and children. And that's the way we're going to change our community, is by making sure both of those entities, children and parents, are fully engaged in the new Detroit.
Well, you've been able to see, I would think, 10 years. You're able to see the evidence of the difference that you can make in the community. What type of a difference do you see your influence of this network having on these families?
Well, I think there's lots of differences and changes and investments that we've seen in families. The first is that we don't see parents or their children as people that we solely want to help. We view them as assets and people who can contribute to the problems that we see in our city and in our school system. So that's what the organization started off as, is saying you have a lot to give, you have a lot to bring, that you are that kind of change agent to make a difference in the lives of children and in this community. So we focused on them and on contributing. And so one of the ways that we asked them to contribute, if you're a member of the Detroit Parent Network, you have to pay $5 and invest 5 hours. And so it's pretty simple. It's very inexpensive. But what we found is by making that small commitment, what we get back is far more money from parents and far more time in terms of building out this organization and reaching out to other parents to make a difference. And we see them do simple things like babysit other children, other parents' children while they're going off to do work. Or we see them come to do workshops to understand and improve their finances, or they're looking for good schools, touring good schools, telling other parents about good schools. They're involved, they're doing parenting classes. They're focused on almost any and everything, but they see themselves as change agents rather just people who are getting support. And it's that kind of volunteerism and that neighbor helping neighbor strategy that it makes this organization so important.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Sounds like an awesome organization. If anybody wants to get more information, it's called the Detroit Parent Network. And certainly I know they can go through the Skillman Foundation as well to get more information.
Yes, they can do so. Thank you.
Today's Comcast Newsmaker was Tonya Allen, the COO of the Skillman Foundation.